Alrighty, today we are hiking Mount Bond, West Bond, and Bondcliff in the Pemigewasset region of New Hampshire. We are starting from the Lincoln Woods Visitor Center, and now we're going to head down here. Since this hike is quite long, around 23 miles, this is going to be a really long video. May even have to split it into 2 parts, but that's okay. Just want to show off this bridge really quick. A suspension bridge over the east branch of the Pemigewasset River. Just awesome. And we'll meet you farther down the trail. Alright, 2.9 miles to the wilderness boundary. And off we go. Now the Lincoln Woods and the wilderness trails are pretty flat. They follow old railroad beds, so should be easy going until we get to the Bondcliff Trail, or at least the part that actually ascends the mountain. Ideally, I'd like to do all 3 bonds, Bond, West Bond, and Bondcliff, but if I feel absolutely pooped, I might just go to Mount Bond, the main peak, and call it a day. So I'd at least like to get to Mount Bond. If I could get there, I'd be happy. Got some old artifacts from this Trails Railroad days. If you're gonna come here, watch your step, especially if you go out this far. Alright, we've reached our first major trail junction of the day, the Osseo Trail. I took this trail when I did Mount Flume last year for flags in the 48, but we're going to leave that be for now and continue on the Lincoln Woods Trail. Alright, we've reached the next major trail junction, the Black Pond Trail to Black Pond. And from Black Pond there's a somewhat popular bushwhack route to Owl's Head. But onward on the Lincoln Woods Trail we go. There's the Franconia Falls Trail. Point 4 to the falls, but we're not going there mainly because I don't have a free permit and the main destination is the Bonds. I believe this right here is Franconia Brook, if I'm not mistaken. High water, so not gonna mess with that. Pemigewasset Wilderness. Welcome. Alright, and the Bondcliff Trail starts right here. Franconia Brook Trail goes that way towards 13 Falls, but we're not going that way. Oh, no. I believe it's 6.5 miles around there to the summit of Bondcliff from the junction with the Franconia Brook Trail. I think the first maybe 1.5 miles, 2 miles is on this part of the trail that goes over a logging road, or the logging railroad. old one that is. Then after that starts to climb for 4 miles. But we can do it. I know it. Alright, I believe we are on the section of the Bondcliff Trail that actually ascends the mountain. Aren't really going up anything yet, but we'll soon see. Because I believe there are 4 brook crossings on the way up. I believe in that sign that I just took a picture of. It's about 4.5 miles to the summit of Bondcliff. Man, I can't wait to get there. And hopefully I can get the customary Bondcliff cliff pick, even though I'm solo, so that means there'll have to be somebody up there with me, or at the same time as me rather. We've come to a notably lighter part of the trail. Follows a brook, Black Brook I think. And the sun's beating down on this more than the previous section we were on. Onward we go. Well, looks like you got a rough water crossing. You know what? I think I'm going to take off my boots and wade across. I'll meet you at the other side. Well, I made it across that brook crossing, but I had to take off my boots and socks and wade across. I might have been able to get by with just walking across with my boots. They may have gotten a little wet, but better safe than sorry. Well, another brook crossing. Well, I'm going to do my thing, then meet you on the other side. We're on our way. So far, the trail's grade has been pretty easy to moderate. Although, don't think we're even halfway to Bondcliff yet. From the junction back there. Or sign. But still, we have the whole day. Let's enjoy it. Looks like you got a steep section. Let's do it. Man, I hate these water crossings, but hopefully by the end of the day, the water level should be a bit lower. At least that's what I'm hoping. Other than that, it's a pretty nice hike. Still can't wait to get some views. Oh boy, flat section. Probably won't be like this for long though. Let's relish it while we have it. Ooh, this section looks pretty nice. You can see up to the Bondcliff Ridge up there. According to the White Mountain Guide, I think there's a spot that you can see straight up to Bondcliff too. Hopefully you can find that. Look at that. The Bondcliff Ridge. Views are going to get better from here too, particularly when you reach the summit of Bondcliff. Yet another rough crossing. I'm going to do my thing, then I'm going to meet you over there. Now that I think about it, that crossing I just did was probably the easiest out of the 4 so far. Or 5 rather. Guess there is one on the flat section of the Bondcliff Trail. Onward we go. I think this may be the part of the trail that skirts the mountainside, because it's kind of long and the grade is pretty level for the most part. Although, if I'm not mistaken, there's a scramble near the top. Let's see what the rest of the hike to Bondcliff brings us. Now I think we're beginning the final push to the summit of Mount Bondcliff. I'll meet you further up the trail. Well, we have made it to the scramble below Bondcliff summit. As much as I want to take a video of me climbing it, I'm not gonna. I'm 8 miles from the nearest trailhead, or road rather, so I'm not gonna risk anything. Oh my god, look at this view. It's freaking incredible. I'll get a better view once I'm at Bondcliff summit, but man, down there at the base of the scramble there's no views, but up here there's an awesome view. I got a little subsidiary peak right there. And I will meet you at the summit of Bondcliff. I can see the summit. I believe that's it anyway. Now we'll meet you at the summit of Bondcliff. We did it. We've arrived at the summit of Mount Bondcliff, elevation, I have to say around 4,250 feet, in the Pemigewasset region of New Hampshire. Over there you got West Bond, still debating as to whether or not I'm going to go there. Mount Bond, our next destination. And just an incredible view. Oh my god, stone on. Owl's Head over there, and the east side of the Franconia Ridge right there. I believe that's Mount Garfield. Over there you got Scar Ridge and the Osceolas. And I think that may be the Hancocks. And I believe that's Mount Kerrigan. And that over there is Whitewall Mountain. I can't really see Zealand, it's too hidden. And that ridge right there is the ridge we're going to take. Sorry, there's a wasp on me. We're going to take that ridge to get to the summit of Mount Bond. I'm going to take a quick breather and then I will meet you farther down the trail. Oh my god, look at that gully. Those cliffs. It'd be a great place for a rock climber or a bushwhacker to explore, but right now that's not for me. Maybe in the future, but not now. 1.2 miles to Mount Bond. And look at this ridge we get to traverse. Holy cow. This is so nice. Definitely one of the best, if not the best 4K hikes I've ever been on. Apologize for the bad grammar. Just awesome. Well, there's where we just came from, way out there. And that's where we're going to next, way up there. And we're going to take that ridge to the top. Should be a lot of fun. Alright, so begins the real steep climb to the summit of Mount Bond. Oh well. It's only 1.2 miles. from Bondcliff to Bond. How bad can it possibly be? Let's find out. Man, stiff climb so far. What I'm seeing around me makes it so worth it. Still debating on whether or not I should go on the West Bond. I'll give you an answer when I get to Mount Bond summit. We did it. We were on the summit of Mount Bond, elevation 4,698 feet, I think. Yeah, I think that's it. Bondcliff's parent peak. View from here is not as good, but it's still very, very nice nonetheless. Here's where he came from, Mount Bondcliff. And the view is pretty much mostly the same stuff we saw at Bondcliff. Except for maybe the twins. Somewhere out there. So honestly, I think I'm just gonna call it from here. I really don't feel like adding all that up and down for West Bond. So I think I'll just hike West Bond by itself from Zealand Road probably. So pretty good so far. I got 2 more 4Ks in the bag and I have 10 to go. So I'm gonna take a quick breather, maybe a lunch break, and then I will meet you at the summit of Bondcliff. Well, we're back on the flat section of the Bondcliff Trail. Should be a couple miles back to the Lincoln Woods Trail. So far, besides from taking a bit of a fall a few minutes ago, really awesome hike. Trails are scenic, particularly the Bondcliff Trail above treeline, and the views were to die for. So I will meet you back at the trailhead. Ooh, here's one thing I didn't notice when I came up here. An old artifact from the railroad days. Staring history right in the face. Awesome. This trail seems to go on forever. And the Lincoln Woods Trail will be the same way too. Oh well. If I can make it in, I can make it back. I'm a man, I can take this. Well, we are back at the Lincoln Woods Trail. Goodbye, Pemmy Wilderness. Until another day. Man, it feels so nice to have a water crossing that's actually bridged. Well, gonna take a quick water breather here. Then I'll meet you farther down the trail or back at the trailhead. For those of you who don't know, this trail, the Lincoln Woods Trail, and part of the Bondcliff Trail, all used to be part of an old logging railroad back in the early part of the 20th century. A man by the name of J.E. Henry, the premier lumber baron of the era, used this railroad and many others to haul wood out of the wooded parts of the White Mountains. All these trees you see here are all relatively new, around 90 to 100 years old. I mean, the chances of seeing a new growth tree in here, and you can tell what a new growth is by just the massive size of it, Finding one here is pretty slim, unless you maybe go into the more remote parts. But yeah, that's just a little history minute that I thought I might want to share with you. Even though we're on the tourist path now, this is still a pretty awesome view. If you're not a hiker, but want to go on a hike, why not here? Some nice views, some nice waterfalls, and plus Black Pond and Franconia Falls are pretty cool too. Although I think you need a permit for the latter. It's free, no, but their numbers are limited, so boy, am I glad to see this. We're almost done. Now I'll meet you back at the trailhead.
We did it. Mount Bond and Bondcliff are in the bag. Number 37 and 38 on the list of 4,000 footers. If you were expecting a full trip to all three bonds, I apologize, but to be honest, I just wasn't feeling it mentally. I'm kind of glad I skipped out on West Bond because I am sore as heck. Oh well, I still logged a good 20.6 miles. Don't know how much elevation gain, but that took me 8 hours, 50 minutes. So, from the Lincoln Woods Trail and Mount Bond, see you on my next adventure.